Welcome back to the Moderate Mikey. We're talking about football again. So, this preseason, I'm gonna be going over every single power ranking and of each NFL team and how they're gonna change every week. So, week by week, I will make a power ranking video. This will probably be, I'll do this every week. This will probably be one of my only or one of my only series videos I'll have on here. But without further ado, I know we're past preseason week 1. We're on 2 now. However, I am gonna make a I've already made power rankings, and I'm gonna share them with you, and then I'm gonna give you this preseason week ones and how they've changed. So my starting rankings, this is going into the preseason, not starting any games yet, are 32 Miami Dolphins. Everybody's bad on their team except for their running back, Devon Kane. 31 is the Cardinals. They've got a lot of talent on offense, but their defense is just trash. Just worse than the Lions, worse than the Bengals. It's just bad. 30, Las Vegas Raiders. Their Fernando Mendoza was good. They've got fine running backs, but other than that, they're like a bad team. Their defense regressed a little bit too. 29 New York Jets. Jets didn't get that much better, in my opinion. 28 Cleveland Browns. They have a really solid defense, which is why they're not at the bottom, but they're still bottom 5 because their offense is completely terrible. That quarterback battle is going great. We'll talk about that in preseason week 1 power rankings. Vikings, people are going to think that I'm insane for putting them this low. They're like, "What? You're putting them at 6th worst even though they're in the best division in the NFL?" No, best division in the NFL is my division. Everybody in there got over 12 wins except for the Cardinals. So these guys, not even a single one got 12 wins or more in the NFC North. They're all just mediocre, in my opinion. But yeah, Vikings are just they stink. I mean, they have a fine defense. It's just their offense. Kyler Murray was a fine pick, and we'll talk about that in a second. But next is New Orleans Saints. I just got them in number 26, and the Falcons. You could go either way. 24 are the Titans. Cam Ward's looking promising, and I think the offense is looking decent. Defense is looking decent. They're gonna be a wild card team, not like 5th, 6th seed, not 5th, 6th, or 7th seed. Just I think they're a wild card. Like they might shock you and win a game that they are projected not to win. 23 the Colts. They're about on the same. They're like a much older team. They're kind of older, but yeah, definitely better. Not better, but like on the same like wavelength as the Titans. 22 New York Giants. I have the New York Giants worse than Tennessee Titans, but they're in terms of their depth chart, they just have an overall more solid team. Their defense is better than the Titans' defense by a mile. Washington Commanders, Stephon Diggs signing really boosted them. It actually didn't. They've kind of always been here on my list. They're just kind of a mid team. Same with the Panthers, Packers, Buccaneers have good talent. They're just losing people. Losing Mike Evans wasn't good. Jags are pretty mid. They've regressed a lot this off season. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. Steelers are just mid 9-8 team. Chiefs, I just don't like the way they look. Their wide receivers, they have a bit of a wide receiver problem. Walker on their team's gonna be great for them, but Mahomes, I don't trust his recovery. I think he'll regress. He wasn't exactly playing great. He led his team 6-8 in 2025. So, yeah. 14, the Cowboys. I think they could make the playoffs, and they're probably going to. Maybe they're fighting for the Bears for the 7th seed. I think they could do it. Or the Lions, depending on which one of those two win their division. 13, I have the San Francisco 49ers. I think that the 49ers have a really overrated defense, but overall, their defense is competent enough to not be bottom 5, and their offense is competent enough to make them top 10 in that category. So they should be lower, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that their roster is fine. We'll talk about their performance later. Cincinnati Bengals, at number 12, they're just the 49ers, but a little better in my opinion. But we'll see if I'm right about that later. 11 Baltimore Ravens. I think that they're interesting. Like the Bucks, they're the best team in their division, but they're still just kind of decent. They have wide receiver holes. Um, Derrick Henry's good, but they'll probably play a lot of games really well. I just don't. I can see a world where the Bengals actually win the division. I don't think that's gonna happen as much anymore, but we'll see. When my prediction video, we'll see. So Chicago Bears. Oh, and their defense is mid. Bears, they've made improvements to their defense, but overall they're still kind of. Their defense looked good in the preseason game, which we'll talk about. But yeah. 9 Detroit Lions. I just think that their offense, they just had a really bad year last year. The Steelers kind of ripped them a win. They would have made the playoffs at the 7th seed. Probably would have beaten the Bears and went on to face the Seahawks and probably lose. But I think they could have won a playoff game if not for that stupid Steelers win. That shouldn't have happened. Next is the LA Chargers. They've just got a phenomenal offense and a not great defense. Didn't really change too much this offseason. Los Angeles Chargers. So, I think the Chargers are. I think they're fine. I think on both sides of the ball they're pretty good. They're definitely one of the more balanced teams. Texans have a phenomenal defense, and they have solid enough offense with Nico Collins, but other than that, they just don't really have a lot of great players. Bills, who I have above them, and I think they're gonna beat the Bills. I have them 6 in my power rankings. I think the Bills have again, good offense, interesting defense. It's a lot better than the Lions defense or the Bears defense or the Bengals defense. I'd say it's comparable to the Chargers defense, and never mind. But yeah, number 5. This is the last. We're in top 5 now. I think the Eagles can really bounce back. I don't think Hurts is elite by any means. I think he's a good quarterback. He's like Darnold level, maybe a little lower. I just think that their offense and their defense is great. New England Patriots, same. Same with Seattle Seahawks, Broncos, and Rams. These teams are just really elite. Maybe not the Eagles. They're kind of lacking. But we'll see how the power rankings changed. So starting off in preseason week 1, Dolphins still at the bottom. They just had a terrible game. Malik Willis kind of shocked me a little bit with that opening touchdown. I will say they're probably going to win a few more games than I thought, but still not looking good for the Dolphins. 31 Raiders. I think the Raiders, I have them actually going down in the power rankings. They just had a really bad first game. They're currently down 20-3 in the game today. So I am a little biased towards them and the Texans right now. Because they're playing in game right now at 9:51 p.m. Eastern time. But they just go down. I did not think that. I think Kirk Cousins can make some good plays, but overall, the Cardinals just have a better roster. The Cardinals beat the Raiders, and they played equally the same amount of people. Cardinals even played like their crappy this quarterback. They didn't even play Minshew. They just have a lot more depth than the Raiders do, and that's why I think overall they're a better team. Even their first strings. 29, the Browns. I switched the Browns and the Jets because the Jets put up a better performance against the what's it called? They put up a better performance against their second string. Oh gosh, I can't speak. The New York Jets second string put up a better performance against the Bucks than the first string for the Browns did for against the Bears. Just way better performance. They both lost their games, but at least the Jets didn't lose their game by 3 scores. They only lost by 1. The Vikings. I still have the Vikings pretty low. They might increase. They might pass the Saints and the Falcons. We'll have to see in week 2. They'd have to play Murray again. J.J. McCarthy would have to show some good skills. He did not when they played against the Giants this week. So, yeah. Number 26 in my power rankings are the Falcons. I think the Falcons are just bad. They're just a bad team. They didn't really play their starters that much, but they're just bad. Tua was an awful addition. He's not gonna be good this year. Next, that's why I said the Vikings could go up, and I think they're gonna. 25, the New Orleans Saints. Really like the way they look right now, except never make Spencer Rattler your quarterback number 2. That was pathetic against the Jags. But they were ahead in the game for pretty much the entire game up until the last few plays. So I think the Saints are an improved team, and they could go 7-10 like people are saying they're gonna. Next to the Tennessee Titans, and I think Tennessee Titans, well, Cam Ward didn't play that well, but I still think the offense looks solid enough to put them up there. Colts, they played pretty mediocre though overall. I don't know what was going on with the 49ers. Indianapolis Colts. Don't think Danny Dimes played that game. Again, I watched the highlights. I don't really remember. They're still there. They're still at where they are. They didn't really show that much difference. Giants didn't really show that much difference. You're gonna see a lot of these teams trying out their first strings, but you're not really gonna see a lot of these teams. Like, I'm pretty sure none of these guys tried out Goff, Williams. I don't think a single one of them actually had their starter go out there. Broncos had Stidham go out there, and we'll go back to that in a second. So number 22 is the Giants. Dart was fine for the most part. He was fine for the most part. That sack play was crazy where he got sacked. I don't think he is the star. He's not gonna get that many yards next year. He could probably be bottom like, well, top like 30. I think he could be top 30 next year. I don't know. 21 Commanders. They played interesting. Stephon Diggs is gonna again. It was their second string, and they beat the Dolphins' second string like crazy. But yeah, I think that they stay pretty much where they're at. Ooh, the Panthers. I could move them down if I wanted to, and I think I'm gonna, because my good lord, Bryce Young played bad. Um, I'm gonna give him another chance in week 2, but if I don't see improvement from the Panthers, he might even go down like to the rest of the NFC South. That is how bad I think he played. 19 Packers, same. With Parsons back, they'll be fine, but where they are right now, their power rankings are just not that good. All it takes is that one extra player, and you've won the game. So every player counts, and they don't have him right now. So yeah. So 18, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think I have them 18. Yeah, they're the best team in the NFC South. They won their game with their second string looks fine. Um, Granted, they they won against a Jets second string, but yeah. Anyway, 17 are the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that the Jags, they're not gonna move that much in their power rankings because they 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 played entirely with their second string, and yeah, they did. Um, number 16, Steelers don't really move that much either. Um, 15, Justin Fields look like crap out there. They're not moving. Okay, Bengals. I moved them, I think. I moved them down. Just I moved them down 2 places. I basically switched them in the Cowboys because that Cowboys second string was like good. Um, but I switched these two teams right here. Here's why. The Bengals, that starting drive with Burrow against the Lions literal second string was trash. I think they put up a field goal, but you needed a touchdown. Like, come on. CJ Stroud and that god awful O line put up something against Mendoza tonight. You can at least do that. You can at least be on. He's not even on Stroud's level right now. Flacco came in, got a touchdown, but man, Bengals, what are you doing? Um. Anyway, that's why I moved them down 2. I moved the Cowboys up 2 because just better performance, and also in hindsight, they're better than the 49ers. 49ers, I thought they had a lot of depth, but they don't. They really don't. So the 49ers are actually lower in my power rankings, but the Bengals are also much lower too. Actually 2 places lower than they were. So the 49ers, even though they got worse, and I have a worse opinion of them than I did before, they're now, they're still in the same spot. Um anyway, I talked about the Cowboys and how they perform well against my Seahawks. I didn't change these ratings too much. I don't think I changed them at all. I think I maybe put the Chargers above the Texans, but that's it. Bears, oops. Bears still where they're at. Lions still where they're at. Texans, I moved down because Chargers crushed them. Um, Eagles, I moved down to 6 because Josh Allen was up against the Panthers' first string, and he got the most yards in the game, which usually a younger guy does, like Kyle Allen would have. They did put up a lot of yards that game. They crushed the Panthers. The Panthers, I don't know why I thought that their defense was actually not terrible. It's pretty bad. But yeah, they played their first string guys out there. The Panthers did, and the Bills crushed them. Even the first string. If you would have kept playing with Carolina and Buffalo, I guarantee Buffalo would have won that game by a lot. Like with the first string. So the Bills are looking a lot better than I thought. Their defense is though. That could have been the second string. Oh no, that was the first string. But yeah, the score was crazy too. It was like 29-14. Um, Patriots second string played. Can't tell if they did better or worse. Seahawks second string played. Can't tell if they did better or worse. Um, Broncos same. Actually, they didn't. They had a few people play. They had Cortland Sutton play for a wide receiver, and he did fine. He actually did decent. Him and Stidham got that rhythm. um, that was so stupid. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, they earned their number 2 spot. And the Rams, of course, are the Rams. So I still think the Rams are better than the Broncos, even though both teams could beat each other. Um, but that's it. I think those are my power rankings for this preseason week 1. Goodbye.